Today, Romeo is going to talk about his TikTok channel. Is it a channel? His TikTok.
My new TikTok that I created.
I'm going to just go ahead and let him start off with telling you the name of the TikTok and what it's all about.
Hey, everybody. My name is Romeo, and I recently created a TikTok dedicated to my sobriety journey, and it's called Unaddicted. That's UN_ADDICTED. And, I just recently started it and, just trying to see where it goes.
All right. Unaddicted. So that's a very unique name. And we want to dive into the name, what it means and all that stuff. But first things first, tell the people why you started Unaddicted.
The reason that I started it is because, I went on a journey to sobriety. I'm 3+ years sober. And as a barber, a lot of people sit in my chair, not just to get a haircut, but they sit in my chair to get, a therapy. It's like a therapy session,
Therapy.
And people really, pour into me. And I see that a lot of people are struggling with addiction. And I felt like, it would be unfair for God to take me through the journey that he took me through and allow me to have the testimonies that I have and not share it and potentially help someone else to overcome their addiction as well.
Amen. And, Romeo and I's journey is super similar. So we have overcome so much. And like Romeo said, we want what we went through to mean something and be able to be used for the greater good for the community. So, Romeo, with that being said, what do you hope to gain by starting your TikTok Unaddicted?
Initially, that's okay. Initially, when I started it, my plan was just to share my journey, in as best way as possible. One of the things that I kind of regret is not starting to share it sooner, but I'm sharing it with the hopes that maybe like some of the things that I went through will resonate with other people, so they won't feel like they're alone on the journey. Because when you're in the middle of addiction, you feel like you're alone. It's embarrassing, Absolutely. Man. Like, so you do a lot of things in private. You suffer in silence a lot. And to know that somebody else went through it and made it through it would hopefully will be a beacon of hope for other people to get themselves right. At the worst of my addiction, I was drinking like 1 to 2 bottles a day by myself, in addition to popping pills and other things. And, if I could survive, I feel like other people could survive, or they have the potential to survive. I just really want people to not give up on themselves, to know that there's hope, and to know that it's okay to share what you're going through. It's not something embarrassing. Some of the greatest people in history have gone through addiction and overcame. And I just wanted to be that person that could possibly, bridge the gap for people.
Period, babe. Period. Like, you being so courageous, it just lightens my heart. It really, really does. No, seriously. And I don't want to be on here crying, but anybody who knows or who's been through something, especially something so traumatic and so deep, it's not easy getting out and talking about your journey and sharing the things that you've overcome. A lot of people, like Romeo said, they don't speak up and they do suffer in silence, or they feel embarrassed, especially men. Like, for women, we have that platform to be able to talk about our emotions or to be emotional, but for men, they really don't have a platform or an outlet to be able to be vulnerable or to be emotional. So that right there is top tier. People look at vulnerability as a weakness, but in actuality, it's a strength. It's really, really a strength. So, babe, just tell the people what you want to see. What do you want to come out of this TikTok that you started?
I just want to bring awareness to addiction. I want people to see that addiction is a real thing. A lot of people not only are suffering in silence, but a lot of people don't even realize that they have an addiction, or that it's a problem. For myself, I always knew that I was gonna love drugs and alcohol since I was a kid. And I used to always like joke about it or whatever the case may be. But I never thought that it would be a problem because I was super functional. I held down like a business. I raised my family, and you know, because I was on autopilot and I was doing everything successfully, making good money, doing, looking good in the community, I didn't realize that it was a problem. What made me realize that it was a problem is one day I showed up for work and my hands wouldn't stop shaking. And I was trying to, as a barber trying to cut hair and my hand shaking, like that's a no go. And in order to steady my hands, I had to like drink 32-ounce beers all day long. And it was at that point that I knew I had a problem. And because I developed physical addiction, it was super hard to just quit. So, like before you get to that point, like if you can see the signs, some of the things that I was doing that were questionable prior to me realizing that I was addicted was, I used to hide and drink a lot. So like if I'm showing up to the function, with a bottle for everybody, I already drank one by myself before I get there. I knew where every liquor store was. Like that's not normal. Like if we went out of town as a family, like I would go on Google Maps and I'll find every liquor store, what time they start, what days, is it a dry county? Like I knew all of that so I could be prepared because I didn't want to be without it. And I actually made it a part of every aspect of my life. Like I never went anywhere and wasn't drunk, so what I want to come out of it is I just want to like just bring awareness to the disease of addiction. And I also want people to realize something. Like the way that addiction is presented to us up until now is that once an addict, always an addict. And that is not true. I'm 3.5 years out of it, and I don't identify as an alcoholic because that's not true. That's in my old self. I became a new person. A friend of mine gave me a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I read that book. And in that book, he talks about how to change your life and become a new person. And the words in that book helped me to become a new person. And I left that person behind. And I just want everybody to know that they could do that too. And if it could save a life, 2 lives, 100 lives, I'm here for it, man. So, I just want to see how far the journey going to take me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he saved a lot of lives by saving his own life. We have a family of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7. So not only did he create a new narrative for our family, he broke so many generational curses. So it's like this is something big. So he healed backwards and he's also healing forward, like for our future. With that being said, before we wrap up, Romeo, I want you to just tell the people, besides on your TikTok, what do you do for a living that some people come get them free therapy sessions from you?
Well, I'm a barber. I'm a well-known barber in my community, Killer Cuts Miami. And, a lot of people come to me just for the therapy session, man. The haircut is free, and it's crazy because in the beginning of my sobriety recovery, my therapist, like she told me that she was like, yo, like a lot of people come to you to pour their hearts out in your chair. And people say Absolutely. It to me now, so now I got it set up to where if you want the therapy session, you got to get that complete treatment. You know what I'm saying? You got to spend that bread.
But the complete treatment. All right. I think that was so inspiring. And I just want to personally give a big thanks to my husband, yourself, Romeo, for being strong enough to not only heal yourself, but heal your entire family. We are so grateful for you. We love you so much. Like my kids, they'll beat me up for Romeo. Like literally, they will beat me up for Romeo.
Correct. All of them. It's crazy.
Any final words you want to say, or you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Killer Cuts Miami, KILLAKUTZ as in zebra. MIAMI. You can find me on TikTok, Unaddicted. That's UN_ADDICTED. And then also, I'm repping from my clothing line that I just started, Love Always, LOV.ALWAYZ.
We got a lot. We got a lot going on.
Multifaceted family.
God is blessing us in so many ways. And also tap into our podcast,
Healthy Love in Miami.
Healthy Love in Miami. And we're going to wrap this up. And I just want to say thank you. So shout out to Joy.
Amen.
Shout out to the co-space for creating this space.
For giving us the courage and the space to express ourselves.
Thank you. We love you so much, for
real.
Been
bullshitting for
and
a
that's
long time.
Everything. We love you. We meet spiritual people here. We make so many great connections and we network here. We actually recorded our first podcast right here at the co-space. So this is a big thing for us. This place, like, I got the chills right now just like being in here. So give the people a message and you go ahead and sign off, babe.
Everybody take care of yourselves, man. I got Healthy Bay in Miami right here. You know, health is wealth, y'all.
Healthy
take
game.
It serious, man. And just know that you could do anything through God.
Yes. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day. This is the longest podcast ever.